Welcome to Sage-Based Wisdom. I'm Jana Schmieding.
And I'm Brian Bahe.
And we are podcasting to you from the sacred homelands of the Valley.
Today, we'll be giving you, our listeners, some advice cultivated indigenously from our backgrounds in silence retreats.
And ring lights. We have a special guest today. You may know her as the founder and organizer of the Chapter House LA. But she also, I'm going to have a little cat fight.
Whoa.
It's cool. It happens all the time. But she also has other titles and roles in the world. And I'll let her introduce herself. Give it up for Emma Robbins. Ooh. Our Navajo sister.
Tuba City shout out.
Oh, hell yeah. But not the one who's getting in a cat fight right now.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, thanks for the intro. Tuba City sister, West Side, represent, res girl through and through. And yeah, I run the Chapter House, and that's how we've all been connected, which has been dope. I also have a background in human rights, working on water projects, and I work in conservation and policy now, which is cool. I'm still trying to figure out what that means because I think conservation is like the widest term ever. Basically just working to make sure that the environment and the earth are safe. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, conservation does kind of sound like something that Rory Gilmore's grandmother kind of does.
Yeah. Totally. Rory Gilmore's grandmother.
Gilmore Girls shout out.
I like to conserve.
Conservatorship.
What are we conserving these days?
I think ourselves.
Ooh, deep.
Self-care.
Yeah, that's real.
In a way.
I try to conserve on those cotton pads that you use to clean your makeup off, or that you put anything on your face,
Like the round ones?
Yeah, the rounds.
Yeah.
The rounds. I try to conserve those. I try to use as little of them as possible, and I reuse them a lot.
They're also really expensive, though, I feel like, compared to like the cotton balls. So I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Front and back.
Oh.
You use both
yes.
front and back.
Yes, front and back. That's what you meant.
You wipe front to back.
Yeah. I thought you're saying you use them for front and back. And I thought, interesting.
Yeah, I do.
You're using cotton pads for that instead of just regular old toilet paper. You know what? Also, on the topic of wiping the front.
To back.
Guys, with people with wieners, are you wiping them?
Your wieners?
Yeah. You got to be wiping them.
There's no toilet paper by the urinal.
Go get some then. Go get some out of the toilet paper area. If you're not wiping,
you're not wiping. Nobody's wiping.
Okay,
I can
that's
guarantee.
crazy.
Yeah, that's
It is crazy.
It
It is
should be.
crazy. It is
Because
crazy.
you're
I
just,
agree.
what are you, just dripping it around and then you're just wearing it, you're raw dogging it right in the underwear.
If you shined a black light on me right now, you would be
there's
disgusted.
so much piss. There's piss. People with wieners are just walking around with piss-stained clothes all day long. So,
Yeah.
anyway. Sorry to take away from your incredible intro with my rant about not wiping.
Well, maybe that's where the little cotton pad things come into place.
You
I
know
mean, that
what?
seems like a good
Yeah.
size.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And you leave it on.
Shazi's gonna get rid of our lighting source here.
If you see a
I'm thinking about the
cat-shaped
leaving
shadow,
it on. Yeah.
Shazi, no. Shazi, get down.
She likes the light.
She
It's
looks
a
good
he.
in that light. He looks good in that
He looks great in the light.
He's my gay son, and he wants to ruin my life and entertainment. So that I'll stay home with him forever. Never leave home.
Sweet.
Oh God, Shazi, don't do it.
Oh no.
You little ass. Shazi, no!
Shazi.
Shazi! Come on. Good job, John.
Thank you.
Okay. Emma, on this podcast, as you might know,
Yeah.
since we've done a live version of it at your very chapter house, we give advice freely and with ease. It's almost irresponsible what we do on this podcast, but we take it seriously. Anyway, what's he biting now?
The tribe. Jesus, that was loud. He's really getting in there.
Well, he's going for something that's like heavy duty.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love the advice. I love it. Responsible or not.
Okay, cool.
Jana, is there any what's some advice you've been getting from your algorithm this week?
Here's what I'm going to present.
The
from the
less
algorithm.
you do for a man, the more he does from you. And this is something I learned directly from being a dominatrix. These men would come in, they would pay me, and some of them honestly would think they owned me for that hour because they paid me. And so it was like, I want you to do this. I want you to spank me. I want you to do this. And I would just sit in the chair and blow on my nails and wipe it on. And I'm just like, you done?
That would drive them insane.
And I was like, I feel like reading a magazine, actually. You know, I know we have an hour together and you did kind of pay me, but I don't like your tone. So until you fix that and get on your knees and give me a reason to get out of this seat, I'm not getting up. And then all of a sudden, I'm sorry, goddess. What do I do? You
Yeah,
want me to get
I
you
bet.
water? What do you want me to do?
Whoa.
The less you do for a man, the more he does for you.
I agree. As somebody who gives 0%.
Famously.
Yeah, I believe that. Somebody's got to do something. And if you're doing 0%, it's like they're doing 100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel this way? Emma, you're married to a
I'm
man.
married. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like in certain situations, like domestic stuff, like this morning, I was like, oh, okay, like, you know, we need to clean the house. Our cleaner's not coming for another week. Why don't you do the kitchen? Why don't I do the living room? And I'm like pretty done cleaning the living room. And my husband, Asa, who I love, does the kitchen. And I'm like, are you going to clean the rest of it? Or he's like, oh, it's clean. I'm like, is it though? So I feel like he was giving less and I was ready to just jump in and clean the kitchen. In terms of other ways, yeah, I'm lazy as fuck. Like I forgot about Valentine's Day. The chapter house was doing an event. It wasn't really anything I was thinking about. And I feel like that's sort of me, not just when we have an event, but with everything. And I feel like my man goes hard with like gifts and like nice things. But
Wow.
I feel like professionally, it's definitely the case for me where I'm like, you're not doing your job. I'm not going to do it for you. And people jump in and do it hard.
That is crazy. Yeah, people do. I feel like if there's a precedent of like nobody's doing something and the other person feels like they have to do it. And then that is kind of just like that kind of becomes the norm in a way. And but for both good and bad reasons. I think it can go both ways.
Yeah.
First of all, I want to say about this. I want more advice from sex workers in general. I think I'm going to try to tailor the algorithm so that I'm getting more sex worker advice. On my old podcast, I used to have a podcast called Woman of Size, where I talked to people in larger bodies and just interviewed them about lifestyle and what is going on in the politics of fatness. And I interviewed their name is Courtney.
Courtney Act.
Love.
Do we know
I gotta
her?
remember. Yes, she worked or they worked in porn, but like very like fringe, like independent porn.
Okay.
Basically no.
Happening.
Sorry.
There was like a cute claw right here.
I know he's
Yeah.
really trying to turn it on for the cameras right now, and he doesn't know that he's not in the frame. Courtney, I can't remember Courtney's name, but Courtney Trouble.
Okay.
Courtney Trouble is in porn, and the way that Courtney was giving some of the best wisdom, and of course they were, of course,
Yeah,
because who knows the psyche of people, like the deep shameful parts of people, the deep fucking like the hidden things that you only really share with a stranger who is you're paying for a shameful act.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
but a sex worker.
Should we be going to dominatrix / dominatrices?
Dominatrices.
Should we be going to
therapy.
them instead of therapy?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's kind of what I'm arguing. I think we should not instead of therapy as a form of therapy. We should be engaging in sex work as
1 week therapy, 1 week sex work.
Yes.
Okay. Alternate.
Yes.
Okay. I can get on board with that.
Yeah. What about you, Emma? How do you feel about that?
As a married woman.
As a married woman, yeah, I feel like even just snippets of this is helpful for me to get that, because I feel like maybe it's taking someone's experience versus having to experience it myself out of pure laziness more than anything. But then I'm also like, what if you were a sex worker explicitly for therapists? Like, how messed up would that be? Because therapists are like love therapists, love my own therapist, but like, they're kind of messed up.
They're so messed up.
They're human beings.
They're human beings. But yeah, I think it's really like, maybe it gets back to the indigenous wisdom part, is like learning from people who are doing really intense shit, whatever that may look like. And if you're dealing with people who are spilling their guts and you're learning a lot about their deep psyches, that seems pretty intense. But I think even this, like watching this, I'm like, this is my vibe going into next week for sure. Like doing less, and making people do more.
Yeah.
Doing less is, it's kind of a great mantra in a way.
Yes, it is kind of my mantra for 2024. Unfortunately, I have not been living it up. I have not been doing.
You've been doing more.
I've been doing more.
You've been doing the most.
Just the most, actually. I got sick because I had been doing too much.
Damn.
But yeah, I want to be doing less. Pick up the slack, other people.
Less is best.
I'm with you.
But with men specifically, I have this problem, and I was told by my friend Minnie, who's a therapist, that in fact this kind of advice is she told me that I need to do this in relationships, that when I overplan or basically take on the responsibility of like doing the things for the partnership, because I can and because I like to do that kind of stuff, and I'm a planner and I'm a doer, it feeds into this system that I'm the doer and he is not. And so in order to, and so like, I can't really complain about it if I'm the one who's enabling this kind of behavior. If I'm like, he never plans dates, but I'm over here doing the most. She said that you have to just stop doing it and trust the other person is going to pick up the slack and respond to it when they do, and be like, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. You know?
Dare I say, I think my mantra going into this year, now that we're in it, I want to try to do more. Like in as somebody who loves to give nothing, I'm kind of toying with like, hey, what if I did give something?
Okay, well, I gotta say, Bri, your New York City, our show in New York, which you did all basically, it was so fun.
Okay,
you did a great job.
This is crazy.
You just planned a whole tour for yourself, a comedy tour.
I mean,
You're
like
going
not
on tour,
not like personally, but I played a role in it.
Oh, who did it for you?
People.
Oh.
Let's cut that part out.
Wait. You don't have to plan it yourself?
Well, like manager helped.
Oh, cool.
I feel like she did most of it.
But isn't that kind of like delegating a little bit?
I feel like, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't really understand that's how you make a tour.
I think it's one of the ways. I think I could have done that on my own.
Uh-huh.
But I was like, I think I've always done it on my own. So I'm like, let me see if
Oh, yeah.
my manager will do this.
Wow.
And she did.
Sometimes you just learn new things about our own industry
Yeah.
that you didn't fucking know. Again, this is my problem is I DIY everything and I end up paying dearly for it health-wise or like, energy-wise.
I think I'm so used to DIY that it's like, it feels weird to ask somebody else to do something.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do think that that's like kind of what this argument is like we should just be asking for help and we should be letting people.
I think something that I'm learning as I'm trying to do more and as I'm kind of like observing stuff is I feel like in a relationship, it almost is like, it feels like a team sport or dare I say an improv performance where it's kind of like if somebody's doing less, the other person should be like, oh, I'm going to do more and vice versa, you know?
I feel like there's seasons though too, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I have, y'all know my 3-year-old. I have a 3-year-old who's amazing. But even this morning, it was like, I don't know why she wants to wake up at 7. She's always woken up at 9 or 10, and it's this new thing. And Asa had gone out late last night, and so I was like, all right, you sleep in. And then there was a moment where I slept in later in the day, and I feel like previously I would have gone so hard and been like, I'm going to be the fun mom, and I'm going to do this, and blah, blah, blah. But it was like a season. I mean, it was in one day, but taking turns maybe is helpful. Like maybe instead of just saying flat out, I'm not going to plan anything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's taking turns. I also have to say, like, seeing your stories, I'm like, your man does a lot, it feels like.
Well, I have given, now I expect it.
Yeah. Well, I'm here for that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Relationships are hard, right? Like when it comes to that, but
I wouldn't know.
Wouldn't you know though, Bri?
Not as much as you would think.
I think really, something that I hope for your year as well is that you have a bit of a actual relationship, like
I don't know if I want one
longer
anymore.
than 3 months.
I don't want one anymore.
Brian, once you're there though.
No, I like
imagine.
being single.
Oh God.
you do or you don't like it.
I do. Right now I'm loving it. I'm kind of like, I'm like skipping down the street. The weather's beautiful today. I'm like,
You're gonna go have sex with 3 different people at one of these days. The life of a single man.
Yeah, I mean, I did see something that I resonated with, which is like, I love, it was like video of like Michael Jordan in his prime. And then the text was like, this is what being single feels like, unless it's after 10 p.m. or Sunday. And I'm like, wait, yeah, I get that.
Just being Michael Jordan in his
yes.
prime?
Yeah. And that is how I feel.
I never felt like that as a single person. But no, that's not true. I did love being single for a while.
Being single's great.
It does. It has its fucking perks. It really does.
Yeah.
But again, the life of a single gay man is so fucking different.
It's different.
It's real.
It's so different. It's so sex filled. From what I hear. Okay, Emma, are you ready to hear somebody's need for advice?
I definitely am.
Hey, Jana and Brian. Big fan of the show. Keep it up. I'm looking for advice, I guess, around guilt. I moved down from New York to South Carolina, where my parents retired, to help them out. That has been my role in my family, is the helper, the person that people depend on. And I've kind of gotten stuck here. It doesn't help that my siblings have also moved down here with their kids, and they are vultures, and I protect my parents from them. And it doesn't help that my parents are really feeling their age, and it feels like it's my last years with my parents, even though that's not necessarily the case. There's a lot of guilt involved. in leaving them at this point with being vulnerable to my siblings and knowing that life is finite. But my mental health has really suffered. I don't have the ability to do anything here. I have no autonomy. I don't have a car. It's been 2 years of my life where I've literally just catered to other people. And I don't know how to get out. And I would really love some advice on leaving my lovely parents who I love to pursue my own life.
Wow. That's intense. First of all, you need a car. You gotta get a car.
Get a
2 years
car.
without a car?
I mean, yeah, is this a walkable city?
Oh,
Is she
man. It
biking?
doesn't sound like
Are the
it.
bike lanes off the charts? Like,
Even with a bike, you need a car.
how are you getting your parents to their appointments? I'm assuming they have appointments. They have a car and you use it?
Yeah, that is a tough one. What are you packing them onto the bus?
Damn.
Is this though like the most Angelino thing ever? Where we're like, you got to get a car. Shit, you don't have a car. Like,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I also,
I feel like-
mean, it does
That was my
kinda
first
help.
reaction
Most
too, though.
cities,
Yeah, yeah.
If you don't have a car, I've stayed with my parents before and not like had a vehicle. You know,
Yeah.
where like I've been in places where I was like, I don't have a vehicle here, and that is gonna be tough.
Yeah.
It's so hard. Growing up in Phoenix, my parents refused to let me drive. Really?
Really?
They were.
Even if you had a driver's license?
I had to put up such a big fight to get a driver's license when I was like 17, senior in high school, and they were like, no, no, no. And I was like, listen, you have to let me get one.
Really?
I'm going to make your life so easy. And they finally did. And then I got it, and they would like never let me go by myself.
What?
It was, yeah.
Did they have a minivan? What kind of car did they have that you had to drive?
They had like my mom had like a small car, probably like a Toyota, and then my dad had like a big truck.
Oh.
But even that, they were just kind of like, you know.
They were like, Brian, there's no way we're letting you behind the wheel of
Exactly.
our vehicles.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Cut to them getting in car accidents every 5 minutes.
Shit.
I'm like me. I'm like me.
I had because there were 3 kids, my parents made sure that we had like a junker in our family. So there was like the family car, and then there was a fucking like $1,000 piece of shit hand me down from an aunt or an uncle. It was like from the 1980s. And always the timing belts were so broken that on all of our cars, I swear to God, every time you started it, it would be like, and then you would start driving and it would just be like they make the loudest fucking sounds. I swear, we would drive Uncle Buck cars in high school, my siblings and I. We like had just the junkiest ass cars, but like we always had a set of wheels because, you know, it was like 3 kids back to back, and we needed. They would have been fucking fucked if they didn't let us.
Yeah.
Drive.
Are you gonna let your kids drive?
Oh yeah. I didn't get my license until I was like 29.
Yeah.
I got my license. I moved here from Chicago. I got my license the day before I moved to LA. And I had this whole plan. I found the one place in Illinois, or one of the only places, that had a DMV that was open on a Saturday. And I only took 3 driving lessons beforehand. And I was like, what am I going to do if I don't pass it? And had like this whole crazy like list of things that I do there. Won't go into that. But after I got my license, I was like, they'll literally give licenses to anyone, including an almost 30-year-old who took 3 lessons in a Mini Cooper-esque thing.
Okay, so it was small.
It was small, but now I drive an F-150. So it was now like if I rent a car or something, I'm like, I need to get a big vehicle because I can't be in a small thing after being in a huge truck.
Yeah.
Oh, because you get scared.
Yeah, but like I'm trying to have my kids drive to the store and get me stuff. Like,
Oh yeah.
that's the night. Even now, I'm like, can you go across the living room and get that piece of paper that I don't want to get?
100%.
So like,
Yeah.
imagine if she had a
That's
car.
what kids are for.
Actually, though, right?
So then, do you relate to this caller who moved down to South Carolina?
North
Was that right?
Carolina?
North Carolina
South.
to help her parents, essentially. Are you kind of like, that's what kids are for? They should be helping their parents. But then her concern was like, she wants to leave because
to
they've
leave.
been helped as much as they need to be helped. Or is
I
she
don't
like, I'm
know.
tired of
I think
helping them.
I think that this is really like honestly a cultural paradox that we are all kind of running into, and they talk about it in politics too because
Yeah.
they want to take away like Medicare and Medicaid. I mean, Elon does. Sorry, I'm just gonna be ripping on Elon for the next however many episodes we do.
Yeah. SpaceX.
Fucking chode. What a douchebag. Did you see him with the fucking chainsaw?
Okay. No.
Well, you didn't see when he was like, save comedy. Or was like, make comedy funny again. Or what did he fucking say? What did he say, John?
I don't know.
You don't?
I know I look like I would know. I don't know.
Come on, John.
He was at CPAC and he made a joke that was like, yeah, comedy isn't funny anymore. And it's kind of like, save comedy. Make comedy funny again, you know? And people were like, ha ha ha. And it was
That's so funny.
cringy,
With like
dude.
sunglasses on too,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Like just high off his ass on ketamine. He's just like in a massive K-hole, just being like, comedy is not funny. It's just like,
That's
this guy
so
is trying to take
funny.
away our health care, you guys.
I
Like,
love that he's
no entitlements.
so concerned about the state of comedy.
Truly, that's all he
so
cares
funny.
about. But like it's gonna basically we are, you know, our parents' age, the boomers, they're getting old,
Yeah.
and so now we have this like elderly, you know, this crisis of elderly people, and none of us, because we don't have any generational wealth from their goddamn lives anyway, that we have to take care of them, and like we have to like put our entire lives aside and somehow finance this care and
Right.
also do
It's
it.
expensive. Yeah.
She was concerned about her siblings. She called them vultures.
Yikes!
So-
that was spicy.
I'm curious to know why
It's well, vultures means they're coming to pick off the.
they want the
They want-
money.
they want
They're
the
trying
money.
to pull their mom's wedding ring
They're
off their hand.
circling. They're circling as because they smell something dying, and so they're ready to get in there and take whatever. And if she
Yeah.
doesn't care about that,
Let them circle.
yeah.
If they're gonna take care of them, but also vulture, like I guess.
I mean,
Vulch. I love that.
Vulch. Let 'em vulch.
Vulture.
Do we send her the TikTok that we just watched, which is like, listen,
Do
if-
less?
do less, and
I
let
think
them
she could
step in.
benefit from doing less. What she's kind of like she was, maybe not necessarily oldest child, but kind of oldest child characteristics, and she's like, I have to take care of this family. But it's a little bit like, what if you didn't? What would
Yeah.
would your life improve? Would your parents / siblings actually pull it off somehow if their feet were to the flames or
Yeah.
whatever? That could be interesting.
I mean, I think she started talking about guilt, though, right? Like
Yeah.
the guilt of it, even. I think as natives, we know, like the other day, I was out with a friend and there was this elder, and it was like pretty dark, and she was trying to get down, and there was this like hump of asphalt, and she had a cane, and so it definitely was something where I said, "Oh, can I pull out my phone and shine something for you to walk over it?" And her mind was like blown. Like she couldn't believe that someone would ask if she needed help. She was a white lady. And I said, "Do you need help like walking to your car?" And my friend helped her walk to her car, which was like half a block away, not far. But she was like so taken aback that people would offer the help. And, you know, my friend is also Native. And it was something where it kind of feels like a given. So I feel like culturally too, right? Like you
Yeah.
feel that guilt if you don't do it. But yeah, if you're unhappy, that's the other thing is like,
Yeah.
let someone else do it for a bit. Walk away for a bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think also we get into these. I mean, in my family, we take care of our sick and dying in the home, and so like, you know, it's sort of like I cannot imagine a world where I would put my parents in a home unless they needed like assisted living, like they needed the care of a nurse around the clock, you know. But I've even thought about that, and with my like financial, I have a budget, like a financial planner who I meet with every month, and I've brought it up with him that like I think I need to start building into my budget like long-term care for my parents because I don't want to have to do it. Like I do not want to have to be wiping anybody's butt. And I don't think that they want me wiping their butt. Because I don't think our parents want us to be like miserably, carrying on around them. And like, they don't fucking want that.
I've thought about, not that far, but I am kind of like, if the time comes, I'm like, my mom is going to have to move to LA.
Sure. Right. I have a friend who did that though and is miserable.
Yeah, that's
I mean, like we would live in different
with the cheap rent in LA.
Yeah. And does your mom agree with this?
I don't know. I haven't told her.
Yeah, exactly.
Because she wouldn't have no choice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We think that at a certain age, elderly people become choice. They're just like not there, but they are.
I'll pick her up, put her in a car.
Her no choice, mom.
I helped care for my grandparents till the very end. I was there until my grandfather died, which was rough. That was rough in itself. Like, talk about wiping someone's butt, like being there. And the reason why I was in Chicago is because I moved from Argentina. I moved back to the US to help take care of my grandparents. And I felt that guilt when I moved to LA. I was like, I don't want to leave them. Like, my family, I wouldn't say they were vultures, but just not as competent as myself. But yeah, I feel that
any
guilt.
of your family members that listen to this podcast,
yeah,
burn.
I was gonna like shout one
competent.
out specifically, but no, I mean, my sister loves this podcast. She was, I'll compliment her, extremely competent and went back a lot. But it was like, yeah, I get it. It was one of those things where I'm like, I don't want to live in Chicago. I want to move to LA.
The winters.
Oh God,
The winters. The windy city.
But yeah, it's real. The guilt is real. But I think at a certain point, you do kind of have to just be like, I got to do me. I
You
gotta do
have
less.
to do you.
You really
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, I got to get a car.
Yeah. You in the short term, you got to get a car. You need to kind of. We're gonna pause. What I was gonna say is, in the short term, she needs to get a car to drive around North Carolina. I recommend. This is something that I've heard about North Carolina. Never been. There's a lot of haunted house tours.
Ooh.
If you're,
This is interesting.
there's a lot of haunted house tours that you can go on. Guided haunted tours.
And you're saying she needs to take her parents on this, and hopefully that will kill them.
Or with some
A little
friends.
jump scare will stop their heart.
Pack those old folks up and take them to a haunted house tour. But in the long term, you got to live your life.
You got to live your life. The voice in the back of my head is always going to be Sam Deemer's voice. Our caller.
This voice.
Yes, this voice. And my question to Sam always is, what do you want? What are you trying to do?
Yeah, what's your life about?
What's your life
We know
about?
so much about Sam Deemer's brothers.
We know so much about Sam Deemer's brother. And I'm like, you kind of got to ask yourself, what's your
Yeah.
drive?
Well, I think we know Sam wants to wear long earrings and sell her Syrian Lebanese bread at the farmer's market.
Yeah. And I say follow that.
Yeah.
Follow your heart.
Everybody pick up fleeing and sell things at a market. I did it, and it's fun.
Yeah.
Emma and I, we put on a flea market here in LA. It's called the
Great. It
LA
was a
Indian
hit.
Flea.
Talk
It
of the
was a
town.
fucking hit.
It was talk of the
It
town.
was a goddamn talk of the town, baby.
Literally.
And yeah, I don't know. It was a fun way to make friends and see old friends, old and new.
Host a flea.
It was the best. Yeah, host a flea. I feel like South Carolina has those vibes.
And look,
yeah.
if you if you ultimately are like, okay, I can't leave my parents, I gotta stay in South Carolina. Maybe you do. Maybe you do in South Carolina what you would like to do
think
if
it's
you
North
left.
Carolina. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
You keep saying South.
I keep
Carolina,
steering us towards south, but okay, if it's north.
it's north.
I need to look at a map, but
It's almost like you have to do what you want to do, even if it means staying where you are.
or taking weekend trips. I do have to say we do have to add though to the car, not a Tesla.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah.
If we're,
Are
I
people
just,
still buying those? Are people still getting Teslas?
I'm still seeing those fucking cyber trucks.
They're
out there.
everywhere. Cybertrucks are definitely a
Yeah.
thing.
Cybertrucks. You're gonna get spray painted, and I hope you do.
Yeah.
I will be one
same.
of them.
You can walk
Part
on
of
the
my
roof.
sniper training is I'm snipering Cybertrucks.
Weekend trips, though. I think weekend trips.
Okay.
Or the
Oh,
haunted
yeah.
house.
Haunted tours,
Haunted
weekend
tours.
trips. You know, get out and get living.
Should we move on to the next
Should
call?
we go to next call? Okay. This one's gonna be probably kind of quick, but that's okay. Oh yeah, this is a good one, Emma.
Okay, let's see. I'm excited.
Hey guys, first time, long time. So my question is, what the hell should we do about pretendians? I know it's a lame question. I know that there's so many other pressing issues in Indian country right now, but the last few months it has come up so much for me, and I'm just super frustrated. Like someone will tell you, "Oh, I'm this tribe," and then you find out they're not, and then you find out they have no connection to community, and it's just like, what? Like, I hate to say it, but I feel like you just can't trust what people are saying anymore. Like, you literally have to ask, who's your dad? Like, you really have to ask these, like, questions. It reminds me of Regan in Rutherford Falls when she's like, what part of the turtle are you actually from? Because that's really what it is. Like, where are you from? And I see these people that I am fully aware are not native, occupying space, platforming themselves, taking up opportunities, and it's just really hard to watch. And the reality is, as Native creatives and folks that create spaces for Native people, they're in our orbit. They are among us. And it's so frustrating.
Everybody's
and
looking
I
at
think
me.
as a community, we have to come together to create some protocols about how to handle this. And I am totally okay and think public shaming is totally fine. Like back in the day, you would straight up get banished, right? If you were out of alignment with the community. So anyway, what do you guys think we should do? I'm just so frustrated and tired.
Love this question.
This is huge. This is going to be my platform when I run for tribal office. I'm going to say no more pretendians.
But like also somebody told me the other day, they were like, oh yeah, they pretended to be Navajo. I was like, that's like the one tribe that you can't pretend to be. Cause like, even though we're so huge, we all literally know each other.
Everybody knows everybody.
Yeah,
it's
I
crazy.
think that if you're pretending to be Navajo, good luck to you.
Bro, like get a tribe that like no one's heard of, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not like that, but like,
they
yeah,
never
like,
do.
yeah.
They're never from a tribe that no one's heard of.
Algonquin. I feel like I haven't.
Algonquin? What the fuck?
I haven't.
That's a language
I
group,
feel
you
like-
dumb fuck. Algonquin. That's not even the right term.
I feel like if somebody's like, I'm Algonquin, I would be like, okay.
I'd be like, no, you're not, because it's Algonquin, actually.
and then I dap them up.
Yeah, immediately if
Oh, you're
somebody says
Algonquin?
Algonquin, then no, it's a no, dog.
I just created
Yeah,
a new kind of like Facebook group.
the Algonquins. Oh, Emma, you probably interact with your fair share of pretendians.
I mean, this is a tough one for me, right? Like,
Yeah.
running the chapter house, which is a Native org for Natives, by Natives, and welcoming all. It's difficult because we don't want to patrol anyone's identity.
Yeah.
And, people come in and they're oftentimes, they say, my family's from Mexico or El Salvador or another part of, the other parts of the Americas.
Yeah.
And I don't feel connected. And it's something where it's like, it's a balance because you want to make sure that everyone's welcome and not shun anybody, but also, like the caller is saying, not allow people to take up space when they shouldn't. So it gets complicated. I think for the most part, though, I think it's more like in academia. I'm also an artist, and it's something I see a lot in the art world. Where people are like, yeah, you're like, what? Where are you from? It's like she said, who's your dad?
Yeah.
Like, what's your clan, bro? If you can't name your clans to me and tell me like one rural ass spot in the res that your family's associated with, I don't know. I think it's in the arts, actually. I'll just say, like, at the chapter house, we don't run into that too much. People are pretty good about making space for others. People also want to reconnect, and we don't want to patrol. We want to welcome everyone. But on a personal level, in the arts, it's difficult for me because I just see that shit and I'm like, why are you using that imagery? You're not even native. And then it's like, I'm Algonquin.
Yeah, they're like, I'm Algonquin.
Yeah, but I mean, what do? I don't know. I guess I like secretly hate them, like dislike them, dislike their art. I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think that we have to really institute the whisper network for these people. And like this caller is saying, we do actually have to shame them.
Yeah.
Sorry. You get shamed, you get shunned, you be embarrassed because what you're doing is embarrassing, and you gotta just deal with that. That's what happens. You made an embarrassment of us, and so now you get the fucking shaft.
Yeah.
And I feel this way not only about pretendians, I feel this way about Native people who try to occupy space in comedy and they are not fucking funny. So you're also a fucking pretendian to me, bitch. You are also out, okay? You may be Native, but you're not a fucking comedian.
Wow.
So there's kind of pretendians of all kinds, okay? There's scammers on a lot of different levels, okay? So listen.
That's so niche. That's like 2 people.
You think it's only
You know what? I'm close to outing both of them. Okay.
Oh my god.
That's what really chaps my hide is when people think that they're allowed to just come into a community and say they're a comedy person, and you never heard a fucking joke burst forth from the lips. Nary a joke hath passed thine lips, and you're out here saying you're a fucking comedian.
This is
Get out of here, bitch.
Our first Patreon episode will be you revealing who they are and us commenting.
So annoying.
Is there a different word though than pretendian for that?
I think fraud is the word, and I think that we need to start calling it what it is. And you know, I have been hearing more and more that like pretendians, I feel like come and go. I feel like we kind of see in the art community, we see sort of like an ebb and a flow, and it happens around things like when you see like Res Dogs and Rutherford Falls, you know, then you're so many people around when Rutherford Falls came out, a lot of women, light-skinned Native women and women who probably look a lot like me were reaching out to me being like, oh my God, I'm so glad this show exists. I'm also a reconnecting Native. And I would be like, excuse me? No offense to reconnecting Natives, but I am not one.
Yeah.
And it's not me.
Yeah.
I born and raised, honey.
You're trying to disconnect.
Yeah, wish I wasn't as connected, quite honestly. It's been nothing but trouble. And so it was very weird that people intuited that because Regan was who she was, that character, they assumed that I am a reconnecting Native. Or because I didn't grow up on the res, I'm reconnecting.
Yeah.
Right.
That's not the case.
That's not a thing.
That's not the case. So I think everybody just needs, if you're a person who is either out here trying to pretend like you are an Indian or you are reconnecting, move with care.
Reconnecting based on what is my question.
Reconnecting based on I want to be in the club.
Yeah. Okay.
Or I feel like out of convenience, right? Like it's
Sure.
like all of a sudden it makes me interesting.
Yes,
or
it
I'm going to
adds
claim this space.
As an
Yeah.
identity to me
Yeah.
that is, yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I think it's interesting when people are like reconnecting and it's like something that they heard one time from like
Ooh, yeah.
you're kind of like they're kind of like, oh well, I had an aunt one time
Yes.
say that she maybe was, like whatever, and it's kind of like, okay, cool, but why does that reconnecting, like why do you feel like your entire identity now needs to be fully Native if that wasn't what your life was?
Yeah. And all of a sudden they're like, hey, not only am I Native, but I'm also a comedy star. And you're like, no.
I'm reconnecting to my comedic roots is really what it is.
Yeah, it's hard because, again, you know, people are allowed to reconnect or connect or whatever with your identity. But
I'm going to host a night of reconnecting natives. Brian Bahe hosts.
And I'm going to be a sniper
At-
on the building next door.
Oh my God.
At the Hollywood Improv reconnecting natives.
I think it's just like the advice though to the pretendians out there. Like we started out, don't pretend you're Navajo. It's literally the worst tribe to pretend to be.
Yeah.
Do your research.
Do your research.
I'll just go ahead and say, don't do it at all.
Yeah, don't do it at all. Don't do it at all.
You're gonna get found out. You're gonna get caught.
What's interesting about doing your research is that if you do your research, you'll find out that there almost is no research. That the research is
you're not.
You're not. And the more you base your identity on something that you read, you know, on JSTOR or whatever, you're going to be like, it will become clear that you're not.
Well, I think also what people should know is you're going to get caught. And if you aren't already caught, people are talking about you behind your back. So you should be insecure already. Sorry. Ugh. This is just some shade what is this? The shade room? All right.
So you make music for gay men. Do you remember that clip?
Yeah. And
yeah, I mean it's complicated because everyone's in different moments, as my dad always says, a different moment in their journey of indigeneity. But it's like just the golden rule of don't be a shitty person, and if that means claiming something that isn't yours, you know.
Okay, you can reconnect if you're not shitty.
Yeah, just don't be
That's
shitty.
the rule.
No.
Yeah. If you're reconnecting and you're either hot or cool
or funny.
or funny, no, I don't accept it. I understand if you're reconnecting, but be cool about it. That's how I just be cool. All right.
Guest.
Right.
Is there anything you want to plug? Where can folks find you and or your work?
Ooh, I love being called guest.
Where can folks find you?
Well, y'all should check out the Chapter House.
Oh my gosh, you should.
You should. I also have to shout out Jana because she's our newest board member.
Whoa.
Official board member of the Chapter House. Now.
She is on the BOD board of directors.
Oh my God.
Boss bitch. Jana's technically my boss. She's one of my bosses.
And you know what? You get a raise.
Yes.
And parental leave.
Please.
Paid parental leave.
That's what I want to plug. If you're an employer, give your people parental leave, paid parental leave. As a prego, I say this. But the Chapter House. All right. We are an all native org. We're in LA, the sacred homelands of the Chapter House at 1770 Glendale Boulevard. Our website is thechapterhouse.org. Check us out on Instagram because we have a lot of really fun things for people who are native or non-native. Jana mentioned the LA Indian Flea, which I think was probably my favorite thing that we've ever done. We're doing it again, part 2.
Yep.
Oh shit.
We have an art show up right now. We do yoga, free yoga, a beading workshop, which is dope. We have comedy shows. Brian, you've been a comedian at the Chapter House how many times now?
3, 4. 3?
Wow.
4.
A million.
It's great. I love it there.
No. So yeah, I really want to plug that because we want more people to come.
Yeah.
And if you're Mackenzie Scott and you're listening, please, we need at least $1 million because we're a small nonprofit. But
1 million.
Wait,
Mackenzie.
who's Mackenzie Scott?
Mackenzie Scott is Jeff Bezos' ex-wife.
Oh.
Yeah. And so she was giving away like all of her wealth for a long time.
She listens. Yeah, she listens.
She definitely listens.
She's a listener.
But yeah.
Mackenzie, we need a mill.
Just a mill.
I'm a board of directors. I'm on the board of directors.
Yeah. But we're super excited to have Jana and just come to the Chapter House. We do fun, cool shit and we're all about native joy.
Hell yeah.
That is all the time we have with you, Emma. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
We hope that our advice made your life better, and if it didn't, we won't be issuing any refunds.
And if anyone you know or yourself needs advice, has a question for us, or just wants to chat about something, leave us a message. There's 3 ways to do that.
You can leave a voicemail at 657-201-9263.
You can email a 1 to 4 minute voice memo to sagebasedwisdom@gmail.com.
Or you can follow the link on our socials and leave a voice memo there, and we'll give you our smudgiest, sagiest, solicited advice.
As always, we'd love it if you gave us 5 stars on iTunes or left us a review.
And subscribe to this YouTube channel.
Subscribe to the YouTube channel.
We'll be dropping it mostly every week.
And if you live in the cities of Seattle, Chicago, Columbus, New York, LA, Chico, or Portland, please come to my show. Links are in my bio.
Go see Brian perform comedy live.
Hagone.
Toksha.
Hagoshinet.